Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, another episode here on Draw the Line, guys. We're on 10 plus episodes, guys.
Are we really?
I'm pretty sure
real?
this
Oh
is
my
episode
gosh.
number 13 or
Man.
14, somewhere around there. But, dude, we're racking up on the episodes. We're bringing out content because we love you guys. We truly do. But before we get any further, man, how are you boys doing? It's hot outside. Very hot outside.
It's true. Wait, isn't it that you ain't got no AC in your truck, and then he ain't got no AC in his apartment?
Dead dumb. And you got AC in both.
Yes, I do, but I work
Must be
outside.
nice. We work outside, though. We got it made over here.
Like earlier when I got here, Danny's like, "You look fly." You know, I'm looking. You know, got my sweats on, looking pretty decent. I mean, but I told him the one thing, bruh, I look cool, but I don't feel cool because it was my truck. It was hot,
Dang.
and then like I had all the gear and
Oh my goodness.
oh my gosh, bro, and
Yeah.
moving it in from my truck to my crib and back and forth. Yeah, it was.
I remember
it was
a story.
hot.
I remember a story. It was somebody at her church. She had a little vehicle. I think it was a Corolla, a green Corolla. You know what I'm talking about? Green Corolla, and she would be driving down the street with the windows rolled down at this type of heat at 109 or 102 degrees, and she would have a huge, large Sonic drink. And she'd
Got
be
to. Yeah, you got to.
driving so low.
Honestly,
Solo.
honestly, bro, like the heat is not that bad. I get used to it as the time goes by, but it is a struggle whenever you go from dramatic like cold to now going into heat because my heater works.
Man,
Like,
the
my
cold
heater
wasn't
works.
even that long though.
It wasn't. I
That's
didn't feel like it was
ridiculous,
cold
man.
this year.
It's ridiculous.
And then it keeps
No.
raining, then it gets humid, then it gets hot again.
And then
I
you
just-
can't
bro.
breathe, and you got that brown paper bag.
Somebody call the ER. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for real. I'm actually looking for a fisherman shirt right now.
Oh, for real?
Finally.
Yeah, I am. No, really, I really
I've
am.
been telling you about getting a fisherman's shirt for years.
And it's not because you told me, Johnny. It's because you told me.
Yeah, it's because you
Yeah.
didn't tell him, but it's because you told him.
Exactly.
So back off, dude. Anyways, how's everybody been doing? What's new in life?
What's new in life, Johnny? What's new in life?
Besides your apartment not having AC.
Yeah, you just got a
Um,
vehicle.
So yeah,
last
I
time we
just
talked.
purchased a vehicle.
Wow,
Dang,
he
it
looks
has
like a
been
soccer
while.
mom, bro.
Soccer mom.
He's a soccer.
I don't think we ever mentioned that on the pod. Though. We
No.
never said, "Hey, Johnny's got a vehicle."
So,
No,
So
got a
he's
new
gonna
vehicle.
be in the new Fast and Furious franchise now.
Not sure about
the
that. one.
bootleg Mexican version,
Yes,
because they.
the DVDs
bootleg
you find
Mexican
in
version?
the
Yes.
flea markets.
Nah.
Yeah.
I actually did see one of those. I like watching some of these bootleg ones just to like see how bad they really are, and they
Dude.
get really bad, and it's like,
Man,
That's a waste
I
of
was
money.
able to watch these movies 3 months in advance, thanks to these flea markets, bro. Half the time you would see people getting up in the middle of the theater, and,
Yes, that's true.
and you hear babies crying. Next, thing you know, you see a bike being passed across the screen. I don't know. So you see all these different stuff. But thankfully, I got to watch the movies early, which was dope. But Johnny's got a car.
I got a car. Let's see what else is there. Just work, a lot more work.
Yeah,
Which talking about work, you got some things coming in your line.
bro.
What are you doing?
I don't know. What are we talking about?
He's
What are we talking about?
walking by faith.
Walking by faith.
Walking
Are we
by
talking
faith.
about like filming gigs and stuff
Yeah.
like that? Ah, yes.
Oh.
No.
All right,
All right.
Oh shoot.
Danny Calvillo.
Everything's good. Mackenzie is taking care of Ella. She's got her new job that she's in right now. Ella's getting big.
Yeah,
you-
she's
y'all
growing up
seen her.
fast.
We just had a miniature concert here with
Yes,
Ella
we
right
did.
before. We put some music on my phone, and then she was just carrying the phone
cumbia.
everywhere.
The cumbia.
She was having fun.
Yeah.
It was a
She's
legit.
grown.
She's gotten so big. Her hair is so long. It's
Yeah, I
longer
know.
than mine.
Yeah, well, Johnny, you
Yeah,
cut
even
yours
when-
off.
Even when,
I
Yeah,
cut
I
it
ain't
all
saying
off.
that. I cannot say that. Holy Spirit just spoke to me. He said, "Shh, be quiet." But so today what we're gonna be talking.
Well,
about,
yes, guys. I guess
Oh my
I would
gosh.
tell you guys about how I've been since you know.
Oh, well then.
No, hey, I know you guys are so eager
Wow.
to.
I totally forgot you were there. I apologize.
Bro.
It's because I thought. I mean, we talked about your job, and I was like, maybe that's it. That's all.
He's got nothing going
My
on.
bad, bro. I
No.
apologize. No.
What's
Wounds.
up, Arnold?
He's
How
got
do you
wounds.
feel?
What's up, guys?
going
How does that
on?
make you feel?
What? Wait, what? What'd you say?
That's all I asked.
I didn't.
How
What did
does
you
that
say?
make you feel?
Bro, you left me out, bro.
So how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Left out. Anyways, by the time that this podcast comes out, I would have already made a trip to Florida. First time going out into Florida. I'm going there to go film a youth camp for a church, which it's a big gig. I get paid to do what I love. I get to get paid to be in a healthy environment, see students grow, and so it's kind of cool. I'm excited just because it's Florida, and
Yeah.
Don't get deported, bro.
yeah, I know.
They got some stuff. down
Anyway,
there.
yeah. We ain't gonna get into that, but
Yeah.
anyways.
Good thing he's legal.
So if you
Legal.
legal
Right.
Scouts honor,
Scouts
I don't know
honor.
which one,
Vatos locos forever.
but I'm getting ready to do that. Other than that, man, I've been trying to exercise a little bit more, bro. Just trying, yeah, bro.
It's working.
It's like a pillowcase over there.
Bro, he's so mean.
No, I
can't
said
say nothing.
So
no.
mean,
Don't listen
bro.
to
I
Danny.
said fluffy.
No, that's still mean,
No,
Danny.
it's not.
That's mean. Anyways,
Wear black more often. It makes you look thinner. Just some advice.
so you're saying because I wore
This is his case.
Oh my
I
god.
was just kidding.
What-
No, it's not what I meant.
We shouldn't have eaten that chicken and rice. It's made us delusional.
We did actually eat some
Johnny, are
chicken
you
and
getting
rice.
the Guys, it's cookie cake
Oh
time.
my gosh,
Johnny
are you
went
serious
to go
right now?
Johnny. Whoa.
He's pulling out the cookie cake from the oven, whatever that thing
Actually.
is. Where you go? You just gonna leave me?
Oh, he brought it out.
What are you bringing? Oh, you need to put something underneath it because.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all see this?
Okay, you can take it back now.
Wow.
I cannot touch that thing. I'm gonna gain a few pounds if I try to get.
I will
that
take
thing.
10, please. Anyways, let's go ahead and
So
get started.
let's go ahead and get started. So, one of the biggest issues that we're seeing across the board, which I had an issue with this, and I'm pretty sure you guys had an issue with this as well when we were younger, but is actually navigating in this life on how to honor. Honor
Okay.
those in authority, honor those who are above you, even when they're honoring those that are really illegitimate authority, basically they're negative authorities in your life.
Okay, yeah.
And you don't want to like I don't know, sideswipe anybody, but
Yeah.
how do you honor in this kind of world? You know what I'm saying? What kind of issues do you all guys see with the people that are around you, like college students, for example,
Yep.
or even other people that you see? What kind of issues do y'all see when it comes to dishonoring or honoring? How big of a clash is it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I work with a lot of college students, and obviously, when you go to college, it's one of those things that you're on your own.
Yeah, and sometimes
Yeah.
you think that it's freedom.
And
Well,
exactly.
it is kind of freedom, but freedom and responsibility. They're learning how to live like.
You have to learn how to manage it and be
Mm-hmm.
responsible
Yeah.
in so many different areas. Like, for instance, just going to class. Another one is waking up on time, cleaning your room,
Yep.
making the right decisions, all these different things. And so when you're in an area like that, like you kind of like what Danny says, you got a lot of freedom.
Oh, 100%.
So what you gonna do with that kind of thing? You know, what are you gonna
100%.
do with that? And so I encounter lots of students who don't make the greatest of choices. Some of them that make great choices, and that they need to influence other people to do the same. But all around the spectrum, like you just get all these different kind of people that once they get that taste of that, like I'm in control now, I have freedom. Some don't know how to react, or some know how to do it responsibly.
100%. I'm actually on the same line. I'm actually finding people that are coming to me or brought to me because either business people or even college students that they're at the end of their rope because of dishonor. You know what I'm saying? They go off to college, this
Yeah.
big school, and then they wasted all the time, and then they come back and they just it really wasn't good, and then they come
Yeah.
back and then it's even worse. You go back to a community college, from a university back to a community college, and et cetera. But I know that whenever I was growing up, I really did not understand how to honor my parents. I know that the scripture says to honor thy mother and thy father. It doesn't really say to obey. So, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I always didn't know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? So, especially whenever you turn 18, should I obey them? Should I honor them? What should I do? I'm an adult now. You know what I'm saying? So how do we navigate through that? What do y'all think? You guys think?
Well, I guess you could start by the first thing being the difference between honor and obey. Mm-hmm. So can we open that a little bit more? What's the difference between both? When you say obey, it's like doing what mom and dad tell you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
In some areas, obeying the kind of rules and responsibilities that they've given you while you're in their house, kind of thing. If they give you something that they want you to follow, obey it, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah. Especially in our society right now, obedience, rough.
Oh yeah.
It's a decline. It's a
It's
steady
it's a-
decline,
yes,
dramatic
exactly.
declines at different times.
Yeah, obedience is completely like adhering to a set of whatever it is that you've been told to do and etc.
Yeah.
But that's where what do you say?
Yeah, I would say so. One thing for me growing up, how I understood like honor and obey, and whether or not these are like the way, like this as a teenager, as a kid, what I understood is like obeying was based on the request what was given to me. So like I was given a request or told to do something, I'm gonna be obedient to what was told to me.
Like toss the trash, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Honor was more of what was the rules set before me. And so I had to honor me honoring my parents was just set like I was going to adhere to the rules that were put before me. And so whatever those boundaries, those like strict boundaries that were placed before me, that's how I was going to honor. How I dishonor them is when I went outside the rules and I went against the flow of what they told me to do. And so, or not told me, but they set before me. And so that's kind of like what I always understood how honor and obey was like obey was a request, honor was a rule.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do I pay my respects to my parents? And that was through the honoring of what was told to me about what I can and can't do.
Oh, 100%. What would you guys think about, like, what would you say about honoring your parents while you still live with them and you're a college student?
There's a dramatic shift because you go from living with them to living without them, in a sense.
Yeah.
But you're still underneath the same household.
Huh?
But you're still underneath the same household.
What do you?
Because I'm finding college students, for example, that are going to a community college and they still live within their home.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
It just depends on where they're at, because at the university that I'm at, most people do stay
Oh, yeah, that
on
is
campus
Yeah.
by themselves with just another roommate. Community college, you can commute and stuff like that, but I think it just also depends on what you're doing. But there is a dramatic shift in between the both, I would say, because at one point, once I left for college, mom and dad weren't around to see what I was doing,
No.
and so I could do whatever I want.
That's true.
I could eat whatever I want, whenever I want. I can go out whenever
That's
I want.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I can do homework whenever I want.
Yeah, and I'm in the same realm, but different because I went to community college as well, college and
So you're commuting.
but I stayed in my home.
Oh, okay,
Until
yeah.
I was like 26 years old.
Yeah.
So it was like from 18 or 19 all the way to 26 years old. So it was actually staying within that, how to honor them
Yeah.
within staying within the home. So we can talk about it from both perspectives.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What did you do?
So I'm the same way is like I mean the same way in the context. One, I didn't go to school. Two, I did stay with my parents for a long time. So up until I was about 26 is when I finally moved out. Just before actually I turned 27. So technically I was like 27 years like lived with my parents all my life. I never was apart from them, but I enjoyed like having the privilege and honor to be able to be in their home. But it also was aspects I had to honor and obey the rules in the home and what I was doing and being just respectful of everything I did. Like
Yeah.
everything I did, I had to honor them in a way. Like if I didn't, like I'm going against them, or I'm not doing things right, or I'm not taking care of the home. Like this is their home, this is their space.
Yeah.
I had to honor them for that. And a lot of people I even know even live at home. Like majority of the young adults I am aware of and I know personally all live at their parents' house. They don't
Yeah.
live on their own. They don't live with other people. And it's like really interesting seeing like the dynamics of each person, what conflicts they run into. Because a lot of them deal with a lot of conflicts. Because it's like you've got this sense of I'm an adult, but it's like you're still at home with your parents. Is there's like still ground rules you have to follow.
100%. Look, there's this really cool definition of honor. Honor is high respect towards someone or something.
Yeah.
High respect toward someone or something. How do you honor somebody that you don't respect though?
takes a great amount of effort and a change in perspective, I would say.
Attitude shift.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
So,
me-
what the question?
Yeah, let me chew on that. The
Okay.
first part you said.
How do you honor someone that
Right
you...
before that.
Oh. Honor is high respect towards someone or something.
Respect. And if you don't have respect, how do you honor someone?
Yeah, how do you
That's
honor
a challenging
someone that-
thing because it's contrary to what honor is.
Because
So it's
I'm
like,
pretty
you
sure
can't
all of us deal
honor-
with that.
Yeah. You can't honor someone if you don't respect him. So you have to get to a place in your mind first to where you have to respect that person. That's really hard, though. I'm like wondering, how do you break that mold?
Yeah, that's the
Like,
thing that
where,
I'm running
where does
into.
it come from?
Yeah, I mean, that's like honoring someone with illegitimate authority. Something I always
Okay.
learned is that honor the position, don't
Yeah.
honor the person. Does that make sense? Whatever position that they're in, you have to honor that position.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like benefits behind that in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I would say the big thing, it's a big attitude shift and a big perspective shift, because my dad growing up, my dad always told me, he's like, you don't have to like your boss to you need to respect that person, because at the end of the day, their position has the authority to, kind of get rid of you kind of thing. And so a lot of times dad was like, you need to treat them with respect and you need to work as best as you can. But with that came a lot of challenges. Like, Dad, I don't like my boss. Like,
Yeah.
he's got different ways of thinking that I don't agree with. His leadership is not 100%. Like, honestly, some of your boss's leadership might be trash or something like that, and you might be like, I have a better way of doing it, and all these different things. And so I think for me, in times where I've been like that, I have to take the time and rethink and renew my thoughts to something that is good. And so even though I might not agree with this person a whole lot, I need to respect them in the position that they are, and the leadership that they have.
I completely agree. I remember I was in a position like that before in leadership, and I really didn't agree with the method that was being done in that position and etc.
Yeah.
But I was taught by my mentors that taught me, like, look, the best thing that you can do in leadership whenever you're underneath someone that you disagree or they're doing the wrong thing, it doesn't matter what it is. It's about your faithfulness and your loyalty. It's what you do personally in the game that matters the most. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're not going to be held accountable for what that leader or that boss, that negative boss or positive boss does. You're going to be held accountable for what you do in that position.
Exactly.
That's what the true blessing is going to come at the end. It's what you personally do with yourself, whether you keep your mouth shut or you say something. You know what I'm saying? I was taught this. Okay, it's like if the captain of the ship wrecks that thing, guess what you do? You go down with the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to for me because one of my strengths is strategic. Mm-hmm. So I can see the future in like 2-3 years, and I know where we're going. And I care so much about this grouping, this organization, this cause that we're going after. But we're heading down towards the iceberg. We're about to hit, but no one's listening to you, or they probably did. They just have their own methods, and you disagree. And the best thing that I learned is go down with the ship. It's important what you do with yourself personally, how faithful you are to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something that was challenging for me is like I've dealt with similar situations where I've had leaders in my life where it's like there was a process or a decision made that I didn't really agree with. Yeah. And there's times I didn't respect the decision that was being made. And it's like, how do I kindly support my leader, support the one above me without tearing them down or hurting them in any shape or form, or just out of spite going against them. And so it was like me being able to communicate was key. Like I had to communicate what I thought. And if I saw something and I just proposed the idea, at the end of the day, he's my leader. Whatever he makes a decision, I have to respect and honor.
Exactly.
And so I may not agree to it, or may not agree to what their thought or process or their approach to it is. But at the end of the day, they are my leader, and I have to respect them for that.
You know, I think I actually been in a position to where I actually hurt my leader because I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't really, you know what I'm saying, honor them. Which, as I think back now, oh my gosh, there's so many things I would have thinking done differently.
Come on.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
You know, instead of cursing you guys that are listening, instead of cursing or or casting a lightning bolt, praying for a lightning bolt
Yeah.
on top of that person, pray for them, bless them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just be like, even if they hit on your nerves sometimes, fully, or you like them or you don't like them, pray a blessing over them. That's actually
Yeah.
the best way for you to get through that,
True.
that thing.
Man.
It's hard though.
So challenging. I've been through that as well. I actually, this isn't my proudest moment, but, but since we being honest, we're
Come
gonna be
on.
honest. You know, we keep it real on the
Share
pod.
some
But
stories, man. Come on.
there was this one time I was transitioning from
No, let it get, bro.
a freshman
just kidding,
in college to a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
And I came back home to work. So I worked at this barbecue place going into my sophomore year of college, and my boss was just kind of real tough. Like, if I'm being honest, their style of doing stuff wasn't 100% great.
Yeah.
The person wasn't there a whole lot, and we just didn't have a good relationship. And one day I snapped, bro. Like, I'm
Dang,
talking about.
bro.
Oh, I remember I snapped one time too.
This is
Ooh, it was bad.
before I met Jesus deeply, you know, and was
Yeah.
connected to a church. But like, at the end of the day, you split the tip jar. We had $2 in there, so $1 was for me. The other $1 was for my boss. Well, these little girls from across the street were selling popcorn and lemonade.
Yeah.
And they said, "Do you want some?" I said, "I don't have any cash, but I have $2. I'll take some popcorn." And in my mind, I was like, "I'll pay her back. Like, I don't have cash on me. I'll pay her back. I'll pay my boss back whenever I get the chance, and it's just $1." Well, she made a big deal about the $1, and she kept, she like 30 minutes passed by.
Yeah.
And she was on and on and on and on, and I was washing dishes. And eventually, she kept saying it to our other coworker, and I just threw them. I threw the dishes, and I'm just like, "You know what? I'm tired of you, this and that." And like, I just started like saying everything inside the words of cursing, you
Dang,
know?
man.
And so like, at that time, I completely blew up. What I probably should have done was step away for a minute, because I
Yeah.
know what I was going to say was not respecting the person who's in authority over me. And later on, I did come to apologize to my boss, not because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose my job," but it was more so of a like, that's not who I am.
Integrity.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
who I am, and it's just like that bothered me so much to the point where I cried. I was like, I just blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so like times like that are gonna happen where it's very challenging.
100%.
And you're gonna have to take the time to really change your perspective, change your attitude, and if you can't at the moment, you can always go and come back.
100%. I would
And
always say,
take them breaks, man.
yeah, 100%. I would always say submit unless you're asked to do something that would violate God's principles. You cannot, of course, participate in those kinds of things that can
Yeah.
help you. That's going to tell you to violate
Yeah.
those principles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you gotta stick to, because sometimes again they might put you in a spot where it's just like
100%.
uncomfortable, make you do something. That's why you gotta know what principles to follow.
100%. That's why one of the principles or one of the values that I hold is like serve the position, if not the person, whenever possible, and serve God at all times.
Exactly.
Serve the position. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the authority to the position that really matters the most. It's what you do at the position. Even if the person deserves it, doesn't deserve it, that's a hard lesson to learn, especially with your professors, especially with your teachers, especially with your parents, especially when no matter where you are, submit unless asked to do something that violates God's word, and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
And it's kind of what Johnny said earlier. He kind of talked about like, you know, it's my boss. I'm gonna do what they tell me.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's something that you are willing to do and you're not sacrificing any like principles or go against anything, anything scripture wise, but at the end of the day, you're in that position, and if you decide to not do something in that position, well, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know, if that position is filled and only you know how to do that position and it doesn't get done, well, it falls on you, kind of thing. And so, like, I think also taking that time to, you know, do what you're
that's
told. You know,
100%.
do what you're told at the same time. Like, you know, my dad always taught me, is like, you might not agree, but do what you're told.
Yeah, it's true, because there's a blessing at the end of
There is.
There's a blessing at the end of serving another person.
Oh,
in
it's
general.
it's a challenging thing, but once you get that once you get past that point,
Yes, it's hard in the moment.
Yeah.
But once you
Yeah.
get past that, you'll see the blessing of it. Like examples from the Bible is like Daniel and Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph was submitted underneath an Egyptian authority, which is completely different than his culture, his
Yep.
style.
Yeah.
He probably disagreed with him. And then Daniel was submitted to Babylonian Nebuchadnezzar and etc. These guys, what happened at the end of their stories? One got promoted to prime minister. One got promoted to being the second of the guys of consultants inside the kingdom of the Babylonian.
Yeah.
The same thing can happen for you guys. The same thing that's happening for us as well. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
when you submit, you get promoted automatically.
Yeah.
Like in time, actually, not automatically right
Yeah,
there.
it's it's a time.
It takes time for that to happen. But one few things that I always remind people, and I always remind myself, is to discourage complaining and the defamation of authority.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Around your friends.
Yeah.
If anything, encourage others to respect authority by your own example. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's tough in general, but this is how we should live. This is where
Yeah.
we should draw lines. It's like,
should.
you know what I'm saying?
Because that's a big issue is like so much and so often I've talked to people who work in more, because for us, I mean, we work in more of you work in a Baptist college, and so you may not have as much.
The environment is
influence.
different.
It's definitely
It's a
different.
lot different.
Cultures.
Me and Danny, we both worked in the church for a very long time. I mean, I've had my experiences in the real world. We all have had our experiences in the real world.
But we
And
deal
the
with
one-
people across the
Yeah.
board from everywhere.
But like
Which
a
can
real
be
common
difficult.
It can be
thing.
difficult.
Yeah. A real common thing is like gossip is probably like the biggest
Big,
thing. That's
bro.
where I'm getting the point is what you're just
Yes.
saying. Is like gossip can literally destroy a company. It can destroy people's lives.
It can
people's
destroy culture within
culture,
that you're at.
100%. Oh my gosh. I fell victim to that. Me personally. Oh my gosh. Even what you don't say could create a bad culture.
Yeah.
Bro. For real, it sucks. Oh, it breaks my heart just thinking about that.
And I would say this proposes this idea that is the actions of what you don't or do say.
Yeah.
Honor your leader or honor the people around you or honor your friends. Like,
Yeah.
how often do we sometimes think badly about our friend and need or a friend at all? It's like, and we dishonor them by speaking behind their backs. I'm not saying us at this table, but there's so many times I've known people, they're unintentional. Sometimes they're not meaning to, but it comes out. And they're just kind of complaining about what's happening. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm so sick and tired of da-da-da. And it's like, is that honoring your friend by you speaking this to another person?
100%.
I always check people too, and because I got to check myself, and I
Yeah.
ask you guys to check me in those moments.
It's like,
but like,
like, what am I on that side of the table?
Yes.
That's what you'd be asking.
yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay. Sometimes what I'll do with people is if they're saying stuff like that, I say, okay, well, what are you gonna do to change it? You can
Yeah.
either leave, or you can work on yourself and change your perspective
Yeah.
on the issue. I said because you can't change. You can't
change people.
You can't change people.
No.
What are you going to do that is different from everybody else that's already doing what you're already doing as well? Gossiping.
Yeah.
Because man, working at a grocery store, bro. I had to so much drama, bro. Like I'm talking about, like
Especially with that one lady with the pink flip flops that comes in with the mosquito bites on the legs.
honestly, all the time. Like, bro,
I'm sorry if that's you.
there's just so many. There's just so many moments where gossip happens, and even you as even if you're just a regular worker or if you are a leader, you need to encourage people to think differently.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're built. The culture that's being built is
Yes.
a culture of nagging, complaining.
Yes.
And that within
sensitivity
itself.
to offense.
And and if you continue to grow that, there will be the honor system that is there is going to crumble. Like whenever I was at Super One, all they did was complain. And so
Yeah.
they didn't. They started to not respect my boss because they were already fed up. They didn't view him the same way. This and that, and they didn't view as correction or accountability as a good thing. They were just like, you against me.
Yeah.
And so like if you're not able to check somebody or check yourself, you start to fall within those same lines of like you're not honoring your position, and then
Yeah.
you're not going to be honoring your boss or the person that's in leadership with you. You know, because we've all been there. I mean,
100%.
we haven't always worked in the jobs that we are now.
No.
I'm pretty sure at some point we've done tough stuff. I've washed dishes before. Danny, I
Same.
don't know what. Yeah, Johnny's probably washed dishes as well.
yeah, we've done
Yeah.
some of the jobs that are like not
That
really
are-
our preference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough, but I mean, I think even then it has shown us the different dynamics of people that you will work with and the different leaders that you work with. And I
Yeah.
think that is also given us a way to think differently and also to obey differently, because not every leader is the same.
Whether it's positive or negative leadership, you yourself are a leader in general. So it's how you portray yourself, or you give yourself a way that basically the whole point is you become the type of leader you want to see. Don't expect people to be it before you know what I'm saying? There was a point in my life where I was like, man, there needs to be this type of leader, this type of person that respectful and this and et cetera. And I was like, man, I'm so tired of complaining. Maybe I need to just be it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mahatma Gandhi actually made a quote like that as well. He said, you be the type of leader you want to see.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make some principles and describe the leader I want, and I'm going to start working on myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to promote positive conversation and peace among the members of the group.
Yeah.
And this is actually done with tactic, and it's done with patience, and offer contribution to all the people around you like that. Which it's cool that you brought up obedience, because after you honor a person, whether your parents or anybody, after honoring, obedience will naturally flow.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. Once you honor and respect the person, even if they're negative or not, you have to change your perspective, like both of you said.
Yeah.
But obedience automatically flows.
That's
So
exactly
don't focus
true.
on obedience. Focus on honoring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the product of obedience comes after.
Exactly, the product. So don't try to aim for the obedience. Aim for the honoring part. Like my mom and my dad, they were kind of tripping. What did I do? What time do you want me to get home, Mom, Dad? Well, you can get home whenever time. No, Mom. What time do you want me to get home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to get home at 10 p.m. I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'll show up at that time before, or a little. I'll even call you if I'm going to be a little bit late. They didn't ask me to do it. But guess what? The more you honor, the more privileges are opened up to you. You know what I'm saying? If you want more open doors, honor and obedience will flow. Coming under authority, words, and submission. Now, some key things to remember. Maybe you guys can speak into this, but along with honor and obedience, the good thing is to be flexible at the same time, to shift and move when necessary.
Yeah. That's big right there. I think within here recently, I've had to be flexible in some areas, and I think with that, it shows my true character of what I'm willing to do, even though I'm put in a tough spot and it's not my job to do something that they've asked me to be flexible with. But it's just like, okay, I respect you, and I know I know you are needing help, so let me help you in this area.
Like, I'm gonna be the best that I can be in this position until I'm released to my next assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that also shows the leader that you're backing them up.
100%. And look, by the way that you're serving another person, this is why it's the blessing behind serving another person's area or ministry or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is that they look at how well you served, and then you will be recognized to be like, this person followed very well. It's something that I had a hard time still working on is if you want to lead, you have to learn how to follow first.
Come on.
That is true.
So right now I'm still learning on how to follow. Like, I have an issue with authority. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's because of my background. I had bad authority figures in my past. So I'm relearning how to follow the leader. You know what I'm saying? All the time, no matter what, you're always following somebody. This is why following Jesus is actually the biggest thing.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a follower.
Nothing
a lot of
wrong.
people's like,
Nothing wrong with it.
you're a follower, you're automatically, what's the word? You're automatically below. You're automatically
A loser.
like
You're not a
peop-
part of the elite. You're under. You're
like-
sub.
Yeah.
It's like great people don't follow, they lead. Well, you got to follow in order to lead. You, got to
follow
learn from
somebody's example.
You got to follow,
Yeah.
like you said, follow somebody's example, because what
Who
you gonna
you
learn
learning
from?
from?
What,
Yeah,
what you gonna learn
exactly.
from?
Make sure who you're following. We talked about that in one of the episodes is about environment and influence. I think it was
Yeah.
the last episode. It's like, watch who you're following, because you don't want the scripture says the blind following the blind.
Exactly.
What if the person's following you is blind?
Boy,
Boy, you better check yourself.
good luck. Don't know where you gonna get at, you know.
And the
For
next
real.
one is like the secret of faithfulness. Faithfulness is like big in God's eye, like just like honor. And faithfulness is adhering to firmly and devotedly as to a person, cause, or ideal, whatever it is, steady in allegiance and loyal to it. Basic. There's a lot of scriptures to back that up, but it's like being faithful,
Yeah.
being fat.
I like
faithful,
to.
available, and teachable. Oh man, teachable is hard.
Yeah, it sure is. I like to
Jesus.
think of it as like faithfulness leads to promotion. I would say.
That's true.
I would say, because if God sees you being faithful with the two people that you're leading, he can trust you with more.
That's
Because
true.
you're doing well with the 2 that you have.
100%.
If you can't lead those 2, can he trust you with the 200? Can he
Yeah.
trust
It's
trust
true.
you with the 20?
I
you
learned
know?
I learned a statement to tag on to that is like God doesn't just answer your prayer requests. He answers your management level. So if you're not managing well and you're asking for a promotion but you're not doing well in there, oh, this is a hard lesson for me, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, then why would God give you something more if you can't even handle what you have?
Yeah.
And that's honoring in that position. Pick up the piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? Pretend that you're the mini manager of whatever area you are in. And the fruitfulness or the blessing will come at it. You know what I'm saying? And that goes into the next one is being proactive. Being
Yeah.
proactive means one who creates or controls a situation by causing something to happen rather than responding to it after it's happened.
Yeah.
That means before it happens, you be proactive in seeing what the person needs. Being a fruitful, effective disciple is much more than an order taker. You don't just take orders. You're waiting. You're trying to help the person that you're underneath,
Yeah.
whether it's your parents. With like, let me pick up the dishes for you, Mom. Let me do the dishes real quick. I got a little bit of time before I got to stay up till like 3 a.m. in the morning doing all homework and then crying a little bit later after that and waking up and then got a paper, got to write that I didn't know I had to write that and I remembered. Does that sound familiar?
Sounds familiar to you because it sounds like you went through it, bro.
Oh, man, I got some wounds. I'm still getting healing. But to move up in trust and authority, it begins with faithfulness into proactiveness, being a proactive partner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's something we could still continue to learn, us 3.
Oh, yeah.
So where do we draw the line with this stuff for us?
Man. Honoring is one of those things that's just real tough.
And in our society,
Yeah.
it's
Dude.
going downhill.
Yeah.
100%.
I think just knowing to me what's the most prominent thing around me, which tends to be the gossip. And I'm not going to say I'm the gossip, but I always want to remind myself what I don't want to do is I want to draw the line to not tear down the authorities or the friendships or the people that trust me
Yes.
and have put a sense of trust into me to speak into me and to share things with me and to give opportunity to me. I want to respect them and give everything I can back to them. Because there's so many people, whether you like your boss, whether you like or dislike them, like you have to respect them because they gave you the privilege and opportunity to
Honor
serve
them.
and work where you're at. And that all can be taken away. And so it's like, I'm going to respect and honor them with everything I've got.
100%.
So I'm going to draw the line there.
100%. I think one of the lines that I drew and am currently still drawing, and I'm seeing fruit now from it, is basically after I move out of my parents' house, that the best way for me to honor them is to live the life that God intended for me and my wife and my child to live.
Yeah.
That's the best way to honor. Even if they don't live the style, the best way for me to honor my parents is to live the life that God wants me to live for them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So drawing the line is do not compromise. Do not compromise. Stay within the game and don't give up and just keep pushing forward and remain under submission at all times. It's so much better to be under authority than outside of authority.
Amen. Come on.
Agreed. I'd like to say that find. I'm trying to put this together. Find honor, and then obedience will come.
Yes, it will flow.
Yeah, and so
That's
I
good.
think that with in this season, I think honoring and respecting, not because this is so and so, but because of the leadership that they have right now, and that they've been entrusted with. I'm gonna honor and respect this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're my leadership. They're my authority at the time.
100%.
And so once I do that, obedience will be much easier because
Oh, 100%.
that respect is a big thing. Like if you're not gonna follow somebody you don't respect.
100%.
And so that's the first thing you need to tackle. I'm gonna draw the line and say, I'm gonna honor and I'm gonna find ways to respect you in the smallest of ways, in the biggest of ways. And then when the time comes where a task is given, I will be able to obey much easier than it would before,
100%.
without complaining.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
without complaining.
Be the best that you can be in whatever position of or state of life that you're in.
100%.
Be the best at it. Be a master at it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So that way, when people look at you, you're blameless.
Yeah.
Nobody
Come
can
on.
blame you for any. That's what the scripture says: is be blameless before the sight of man.
Yeah.
I think something like that. Paraphrase, any phrase.
But honoring people is big. We challenge you guys to find somebody who you just, don't have the best, I guess you would say, viewpoint on them, and find ways to honor them and find ways to respect them, and then
Yes.
the obedience part will come. Will come a little bit easier than it would before, you know. And so find ways that you can honor. And those of you who are young and you're still with your folks, find ways to honor your parents.
Yes.
Those of you who are out in the workforce right now and working, find ways to honor your boss.
Yes.
You can even honor your landlord if you're renting somewhere. Anything like that. Just think of ways that you can honor people that up to this point have been challenging. Because that's a way that you grow. Because you're getting uncomfortable and you're growing. You know, getting uncomfortable means you're growing. So
Come on.
that's a big challenge. But guys, it was a good episode.
good
I
chat.
like
It was
that
a
one
good
right
chit chat.
there.
I like that.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. We enjoy spending time with you guys. We
sure.
also want to encourage you guys, if at any point you have a topic that you want to talk
Oh,
about,
100%,
shoot
please.
it our way. We'd love to chop up and kind of dissect it a little bit and kind of give you something that you can go off of and
Yeah,
you can learn.
100%.
So feel free at the end of every episode on Spotify and even on the comment section on YouTube. There you can just put in, this is the topic I want to hear about, and we're going to try our best to hit those topics
100%.
as long as they're healthy and it's not nothing controversial. But we want to hear from you guys, and we want you guys to be included. But other than that, I'm signing off, my people, because the cookie cake is calling my name.
Oh, yes, it is.
on.
Deuces.
Love you guys.